A couple of days ago, our national editor Bill Felling told us that we should try to do a story about the large number of police officers who have died in the line of duty recently. And sure enough, there were two more tragedies yesterday. Michael Maloney, the police chief in Greenland, New Hampshire, was killed in a drug raid. He was 8 days from retirement. And in Modesto, California, Deputy Robert Paris was shot and killed while serving an eviction notice. Now, look at this. Last Sunday, 4 New York City police officers were wounded by a gunman. 2 days before that, a police officer in Austin, Texas, was shot and killed responding to a shoplifting. And in Melbourne, Florida, last month, a sheriff's deputy was killed during a traffic stop. In all of last year, 72 police officers were killed. So far this year, 35 officers have died, and it's only April. John Miller is joining us now, former assistant director of the FBI and now senior correspondent here at CBS News. John, with violent crime dropping all across the country, why are more police officers being killed?
You know, I asked that question to a lot of police chiefs today and people in the FBI. And Chuck Ramsey, the police chief in Philadelphia, came up with what I think was as close to a logical answer as we're going to hear, which is police are not just responding to 911 calls after the fact and saying who done it and which way did they go. They're engaged in predictive policing. They're putting cops on the dots of the crime maps where the crimes are happening, sometimes at the times those crimes are happening, sometimes even before. Ramsey's theory is that a lot of police officers are having many more encounters with armed violent felons because they're in the right places at the right time.
They're using computers in big cities these days to predict where crime is going to happen. They put more officers there, but that puts the officers in danger when the crime happens right in front of them.
And they're stopping more people and frisking more people and looking for people carrying weapons.
I wonder, does it have anything to do with the weapons that the criminals are using?
Well, it does. If you look at the case we had in New York a few days ago, that individual was armed with a Ruger Mini 14. He's going at police officers with handguns. The Mini 14 is the gun that the New York City SWAT team uses. If you look in Chino, California, you've got the AK-47 bandit who shot a police officer there, but he's walking around with a semi-automatic rifle with a 30-round magazine, the same ammo our military uses, so that is a factor.
And finally, what are the police trying to do about this?
Right now, if I'm a police officer and I pull over a car, for instance, and I run the plate, it'll tell me, is the car stolen? Is the registered owner wanted by the police? But it won't tell me if that person has a record of convictions of violent crimes. And the statistics show people who have been convicted of serious violent crimes are much more likely to use violence against the police officer if it helps them avoid going to jail again.
So they're going to change the computer database to include that kind of information?
It's going to feed that data to the officer on the scene. This person may not be wanted, but they're a former violent convicted offender.
Forewarned is forearmed. John, thanks very much.
Thank you.